Hello guys, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying today's House of Muse session. And my name's Morchin. I'm community manager here at Artisan. Let's welcome Yegor, a talented and creative producer of blockchain projects. And he will be giving us a keynote about culture in blockchain. Now I'll hand over the stage to you, Yegor.
Thank you for this amazing opportunity. My name is Yegor Lapshov. Actually, I was born in Kazakhstan, but then I lived a lot in Russia, and since 2018, I travel a lot. I lived in Milan, I lived in Asia, so I can't say where I'm from. But I think in digital world, it doesn't matter, to be honest. So my background is for last 1.5 years, I worked in two metaverse startups. So first was a metaverse agency. We created a lot of advertising projects for different brands like NASA, like Coca-Cola, Playboy, for many crypto brands. And then I work in a startup where we actually tried to create a metaverse, but now I work more in different projects in different spheres because always in startup you do a lot of things. So I am more responsible for creative part of the project in sense of the culture because there are a lot of blockchain projects and they can be amazing. They can be very profound and very good designed in sense of tech, but it's so difficult for the audience. So my role in all these projects is to make it understandable and to make the mass adoption of the project. Let's say like I'm in between a wide audience and programmers and all this tech stuff. So I have to understand their language and explain it. And also for this time, like I'm in Metaverse since 1.5 years, I did a lot for education. I mean, I write for many magazines like Forbes. I make a lot of educational courses free of charge. I take part in many conferences. So I'm just trying to educate people. I'm trying to explain that Web3 is not so it's not so complicated as it can be from the first glance. So that's my role in I see my path and I see my goal in life in this at this period of my life. I do believe my main goal is to explain to the audience that blockchain culture exists. Like I also have a background in digital cultures. So I did my master's in Italy in digital cultures, and once I finished my university, NFT boom started. So I had a degree, let's say, in digital culture before NFTs was in hype. So I was ready for this. And I do believe that all this digital stuff based on blockchain we have now uh, create a whole culture. So I would say that there are five main spheres of blockchain culture. It's first of all NFTs, secondly it's metaverse, then it's play to earn games, then it's DAOs, and then it's digital fashion. So metaverse and blockchain it's like the basement for all this stuff. For example, I did some courses about digital fashion, and it was so interesting because there were a lot of lecturers who explained about modeling, who explained a lot about meanings, who explained a lot about many different spheres. But then at the main event, I just tried to explain to the scholars that, like, okay, you study and now you have all this experience, but what you will do with it? Like, metaverse and blockchain helps you to use it, helps to use digital culture. Without blockchain and without blockchain culture, without metaverse, to my mind, it's just my humble opinion, digital fashion makes no sense because it has no utility. It's just a souvenir. It can be just a digital souvenir. So I do believe that blockchain culture is the key point for digital fashion. and the key point for fashion itself. And because now we see all these processes of digitalization, of web3, of tokenization, of everything. But I I see it, and I do believe that everything has to have the source and the goal. And I don't think that without blockchain it has a goal, because just to make a digital cloth without utility, just to make it before it's trendy, just to make because it's fashionable, because like you have to be on the wave, it makes no sense. It's just stupid. But once it goes to blockchain, once it goes to metaverse, once it goes to NFTs, it's all connected, and it all has utility, and it all has meaning. So I really believe that the future of our civilization in general is in Web3, because if you see it from the different angles, it's really easy to understand that every communication, each communication between each person can be tokenized. So we can use blockchain in all spheres of our lives. And it's not the future, it's not something from next generation. It helps us to create the present, and to make presence much more transferable, much more fair, much more visible, much more easier to achieve. I often make the example of first metaverse digital week. Like, it was first, I think maybe first event in the fashion history when on all the agenda you could see the names, like for example Regina Turbina, and the names of artisan near to Dolce Gabbana. It is not possible without a huge investments in real life. So I lived in Milan for 3 years. I've been to many fashion weeks, and I know how it works. Like, you have to have at least like 200K dollars or euro, and you have to smile a lot of times. You have to try to find your role and your position in all these snobbish structures. And for many people, it's impossible. Just, let's say, for some geeks, for some people without, let's say, emotional intellect, for some people who doesn't know how to communicate well, but they can be much more talented than all these people who just have money. So, and in sense of digital fashion, blockchain cultures change the rules. Like, now it's not about the future, it happens now. So I do believe that we live at the time when everything is much more possible. That's when everything is much more achievable when it was ever in fashion history. So I think that all young designers, all young fashion influencers has to look at this sphere, because it's something that, let's say, even now, trying to do and trying to create the world from the scratch. So I think that the future is in the blockchain culture, and I can tell like hours about gaming. I can say hours about metaverse, about decentralized organizations, about the management. But now, like, the goal is to speak about digital fashion. But I see it as a blockchain culture, because it's so complex, because it's simultaneously changed the world in many spheres. And now I see it in 5 spheres I mentioned before, but I'm more than sure that it will be everything around us. So I think it's not only about digital fashion, it's about the future, and it's about the people who can grow much faster and much easier and then rather than in the real world. And I think it's like blockchain culture is the field where talent means much more than communication and much more than money for sure. And to be honest, I think that probably in few years it will be not like this, because everything, if we are speaking about underground in general, like underground culture, now it's underground, absolutely underground. And each underground stuff became popular once there are millions of people. And now, just to give you a short a short example where we are now. So in general, there are around 300 or 400 people who have ever been in metaverse so far now, and this number can be it's like the number of persons who were using social media in 2005. So we are on the same level. And same I can say about crypto. Now we have 300 million people who have ever used crypto in their life, and it's the number of people who've ever been on internet in 1999. So just to give you some numbers, some structure of where we are now. And I think that's it's like the future, and it's so it inspires me so much. You can't imagine. I live in this world, I work in these projects, I see these people. And like 1.5 years ago, I just finished my university, and I didn't know anything about metaverse. And now I work in really cool projects. I do a lot of cool stuff. I really it is not possible in real life for me. For example, in Italy, let's say in these conservative countries like Italy, like Europe, you have to work a lot of years in fashion industry. You have to work a lot of years, like to make a stash, to make your reputation, to work with no name. And I think it can take like 10, maybe 20 years to achieve something that Regina achieved for last year. So I think that's the answer, and that's the goal of each person who will see this video. Just understand that it's your chance, and it's your time, and it's not late for sure. It's not even late for sure. So just be brave, use it, and you have to understand that this is the future. It's not something for geeks. It's not something complicated. It's not something for programmers. It's not something for the people who know how to achieve this money, all these tokens. I had my background, as I told, in digital cultures. It's like marketing and sociology. Before I did a lot in journalism, so I don't know anything in coding. I don't know anything in financial stuff. So I have no knowledge, and it's zero knowledge. And now the space is so open for the people who have, let's say, skills in marketing, skills in design, skills in many, let's say, humanitarian stuff, like stuff which is not connected to tech. So it's tech, it's part of tech, but they need a lot of art, they need a lot of creative people, because without all this creativity, because without all this art, it means nothing. So you give value to these tech projects, and I do believe that's like that's why I'm telling about culture in sense of blockchain culture. I do believe that it's culture because it's everywhere. Culture in sense of something that has its own rules, something that it has something that has its own identity, its own values, and it's for sure it's different values, a different perception of all spheres.
I completely agree what you said, and I love the fact we're talking about education, right? Education right now is really important. You know, not only educating the general public to understand what is crypto, what is digital fashion, what is blockchain, to get more people to understand what is Web3, but also educating the next generation of artists, the next generation of designers, fashion designers, to understand that they have alternative, ways to achieve, to chase their fashion dreams or chase their artist dreams in a completely new form. Yeah, I have a question for you. Actually, where do you see the
Yep.
crypto and blockchain to be in the next 5 or 10 years? What would be the perfect scenario?
To be honest, first of all, I'm waiting when this crypto winter ends because, like, I think 90% of all my savings were in crypto, and since April I lost 90% of all my money, like in a few months, because I believed in it too much, and like I had all my elder friends who told me you have to do something with it. They just sold their NFTs because they were in crypto since 2017, since the first bear market, since the first decreasing of the price of cryptocurrencies. So I'm not a financiist, and as I told, I work in a little bit different spheres. So first of all, I'm waiting for all these cryptocurrencies to continue to grow, and it will be for sure. And as I mm, as I know, as soon as I speak with my colleagues, my some some colleagues who works more in financial stuff, in economics, in cryptonomics, they say it will be like at least like 6 months until 1 year for just starting to grow, and probably maybe 2 years to recover at at the position of April of March. But at the same time, now it's amazing time. It's like the perfect time to grow the projects because now all the crypto assets cost less, like 4 times less. And if you take a look at the history of cool blockchain projects like Ethereum, like Decentraland, they were launched and started and built in this on these bear markets in crypto winter times. So I do believe that in 5 years we will have at least 5 or 7 metaverses, which will be trying to be integrated in each other, because I see the future of all the projects, of all blockchain projects like metaverses and games, as a huge concept of a big, complex, and entire metaverse. And in 5 or 10 years, for sure, we will have these standards like MP3, like MP4 we have now, when you can just record an audio and send it to like Spotify, to each platform. And for sure, we are going to the same way with metaverses. So metaverses in general, what is metaverse? It's like it has nothing new in sense of meanings. It's the same meanings with social media, and we just have new level of immersive stuff, new level of immersive content, and that's it. So we are going on the same way. So we will spend much more time in metaverse. We will spend much more time, let's say, in digital shops. We will spend more money in digital fashion, because new level of immersive content means you can be represented on this social platform, let's say metaverse, in more immersive way. And if now you have just a 2D picture in Instagram, in metaverse you will have your avatar, and it should be word well if you want to be visible, let's say. And from this point, I can say a lot of in sociological stuff and all in all these spheres, but I think we don't have time now. So I see the future as just cross metaverse platforms, and probably not hundreds of thousands of users as we have now, but let's say tens of millions in 5 years. But
Wow.
even in this sense, in 5 years, if we will have like tens of millions, it will be less than 1% of all the population. But as I see it in many research papers, at 2030, many analytical corporations expect to have billions of people in metaverse. I don't know how it can be realized, but that's what people who work in this sphere in analytics said. So I hope it will be like this, but now I don't see it.
Thank you so much. I think before we wrap up, I believe we have a lot of startup founders and projects. They're building up their project during this bear market. Maybe you have some advice for them for building their projects at the moment.
You mean in general? I think in general you have to start from education, to start from scratch, to start from philosophy, to start from the core, to start from the history. Let's say, what is metaverse? Metaverse is the product and the next level of blockchain project. What is blockchain? Blockchain is a technology which evolved from cryptography. And cryptography, just to mention, it's one of the oldest science in the world. It has 4,000 years story, and it has its own values. And if you would like to understand it in a profound way, if you would like to understand all this culture, blockchain culture, in as a professional, you have to start from the history of cryptography, of the history from the history of this science. Then you have to study, let's say, philosophical aspects of blockchain, and then you can start to study and to learn a lot of. I think you have even artisan should has a lot of educational courses about modeling, about, I mean, 3D modeling, about community management, about how you have to present yourself in this. But for sure, if you just start from the scratch and you see this, oh, I would like to be in metaverse, you will understand nothing, because it probably you will understand it, but not on the profound level, not on the level you should understand it to really understand it. So I do believe that digital fashion is next level of our life, and it has roots in cryptography. So maybe it can sound a little bit strange for you, but I see as a person who involved in philosophy of these projects, in cult a lot of in culture, in like social stuff, it has. So that's my main advice to you.
Thank you so much. I've learned so much from our conversation today. And that's it. If you're interested in talking to more with Yegor, please go ahead and follow him on Twitter and Instagram, maybe. And that's it for the session. Thank you so much.